Hey, people.
Hooty hoo. First order of business. Often I get comments and I reply on them and I say, you can't say that. And what I mean is, double down, say it loud. It's all part of the language change.
Sometimes I get comments and I click on them and it won't show the comment. And I have to go to my channel and go flipping switches and stuff before to show that comment. And so it's usually a list of words, and somebody had said they spelled out vagina and ass, so you probably can't say that on Google anymore either. And old Combed Autumn had asked what I thought about Jesus. And I just run into this, and it's going to be gold. They'll say that Jesus is the Lamb of God. And you could see it here, but where is the Lamb? The way, the G's, and that dot and that S over here says two S's. And this says a couple different things here, but, we ask them, this is, but where is here? We ask them, Vage, is lacking, is the Lola. This is the story, they say, where Abram was going to offer Isaac to God. And they get everything ready and ride on out to the mountains. And they got the fire burning and the knife ready. And Isaac finally figures out something's wrong, But where is the Lola? And he didn't realize that he was the Lola. So everything you think you know about this is a lie. This is an ancient poem. It's written in old British language. It's plain to see. And it's about many pagan gods. And you can see it here. This word that they always say is word or speech, utterance, it's just things here. And this word, the Allah, is always God, the God, and they change that to these things. The words of God, they change it to these things. I tell you, when they double up a word, E-A-L-E, and E-A-L-E, they always say the first one means very. The God and the gods. The word of the God and the gods. Or the word very godly. But it tells you what you know about the story here, but they got all the words twisted. But this diamond up here, when you're just reading the letters, this is a VI, and you move the I and the OE over, you switch place. And they do that because it reads several times. And if you're reading the upper markings, it's just the via. And if you're reading the lower markings, the E comes before the I, the E-A-I. But when you're just reading the letters, this is via, and it means to come in Kurdish, some of the Danish languages, and in many of the languages, without switching the E-I, it still means to come. In some of the African languages, they say it means to come. Everybody knew that meant come. And come, ahor, H-R-E-D, a horrid, every. And come a horrid, every. And this M goes over here, M-E-A-L. Every meal, the veal him in seat. S-E-A-T, in seat. Every time you sit down, she's feeding you veal. V-A-L, the veal him. Every had every meal, the veal him in seat. So this is God saying, I don't want the same old veal. I want something else. And this is where they got it twisted. This is the word for God here. This was the first god of the Indians, and you see it often. It'll have markings when you're reading, and it'll be, a Brahma, and until you come back and read it here, and the A again is Brahma. Brahma is the god of everything in the Vedic, and in the Jewish astrology, he's the center of the universe. But Brahma is, the creator, the supreme divinity. The soul is within Brahma. And thou art Brahma, thou art the vision, thou art Rudra, thou art Agni, everything. And the vision is, the wishing to, wish upon a star. And that's what it is. The vision is the heaven, and Brahma is said to be the navel, the center of the vision. Brahma is all these qualities of the gods. He's Lord of the winds, King of the devas, Lord of the skies and seas, God of fire. Come a whore at every meal, the veal him in seat. Here's God, from backwards, from ER, from here in overum. And from here in overum, who yammer, who command Ali, who yammer Ali, who command all W reading over here, the waiver. It doesn't have the tack this time. Here it reads backwards first. And so this is gods are words. And at from here and over him, who command, who yomer, who homer Ali, all, who command all works. The waiver him, to give him a waiver. Hey, you don't have to have veal this time. We want to eat your son. And, to waiver him via the way more hiney. That little skinny lamb ain't got no ass, got no hiney. And the via, the way of more hiney. And also known as the way of Maureen, the way of the star of the sea. Irish origin, angelicized version of the marine, mariner, the meaning of Mary, star of the sea. Via, the road, the path of Maureen, with just the letters E-N-N, E-N, and I. And who command fauna at can bank it. You can see this little moo above here when you're reading the upper letters, and it's giving you a clue, who command. And so, the mammer, who mammer, M-A-M-R, the mammaries, the tits. And fauna is the wife of Pan. Pan is all. Fauna is the wife of all, the mother of all gods. And it's also, and who command fuck Anna. Take. He shall take them wives is where that comes from. Fauna is the Roman goddess, different sources said to be the wife, sister, or daughter of Faunus. And Faunus is the Roman Pan, the Pan meaning all. Meaning his mother had sex with all and she don't know who his daddy was. And this story kind of says that Fauna is the mother of Pan. The mother of all gods, or the god all Pan. And Anna, back and forth after this. Anna is just the mother in most all the ancient languages, was the mother god. And who yammer fauna et can bank. K-N backwards forwards, can bank at, guaranteed. And backwards, Kudichi, K-D-I-C-H-Y, Kudichi, high dick. Who command the fauna, the mother of all the gods, at can bank at Kudichi. The itchy is when you're wanting, and the high dick is a hard on. So I don't believe this means only son. I believe it means your 14-year-old son, the kid with the itchy high dick. Assert, A-S-R backwards T, and then this is reading the B-E, and then the A-E becomes the E-S, B-E-E-S. Assert a vest, V-E-E-S, the vest, to fill, and to, and this is your word take here, T-Q-H, and it means more than take. This is take as in when you're shooting the stars, your take to mark the center, your take of it, to mark the center divide. If you're shooting the sun, you take your mark from the center. Who command fauna at can bank it? The kid itchy dick. So the kid with itchy dick is guaranteed assert of vest to take. And ets, take it's. The take it's shuffle, it I-T-S-H-F-U-L, it's shuffle, and kick, it's shuffle kick. You know, the shuffle kick is this ancient old Celtic dance that these kids think they just invented. And so the kid with the itchy dick and the shuffle kick, you know, it's the ancient dance of the Celtics. And so kid itchy dick assertive acceive to take its shuffle kick. He's 14 years old. Come on, son, we're going to take you down to the whorehouse and get you some ass. You know, and he's doing the shuffle kick. He's all happy. He got the old itchy dick doing the shuffle kick, where he was guaranteed. And the shuffle kick of culture. Of culture. You know, the shuffle kick of culture. A Ritz. The culture of Ritz. The Maria. The Maria. The Virgin. Which virgin doesn't mean virgin. But the Maria. We all who's we all, the woman, we all who's lowly old lady hear 'em.
She told me to go down, yo, the lady, yo, the lady.
We all who's lowly old lady hear 'em. So it seems the origin of the lowly old lady hear 'em, you know, is, hey, go to the mountains and call for me. Yodelole hee hoo. You know, the harem. The lowly old lady, the harem of all his women. And so you don't realize how genius this is, but when you read with the lower markings and upper markings, it's telling a whole different story. And it's talking about the tortured soul that wrote this. The tortured soul that was in a boy's body in the monastery. And you know, one of the first things I learned was A words or God words. They always read backwards. And so this reads several passages, but you know, one of these times it's why gyro, you know, how turn the words of the God of gods. And so the God of gods means the ones that's in charge at that time. You know, it's where the sun rises at Easter. You know, the Hala of the Alihoms, of the gods. And it turns. And so it's telling several different stories in here. But this story is to Comer had every meal, the veal, in seat. From here and over 'em, who command Ollie, who yammer Ollie, who yammer Ollie, waver 'em, via the way of marine, the way of the marine, to sail the seas. You don't eat the same veal all the time. You're always somewhere else. Who mammer fauna, who command the mother command word of fauna, that can bank it. The kid itchy high dick, assertive, acceive, to take its shuffle kick. Of culture it's the Maria, we all who's lowly old lady hear 'em. And so Maria, I believe the Maria is the old lady. And before your kid gets married, you know, the old culture, they would take him to a Maria, and she would teach him how to do it so he didn't hurt his young wife. And she was the lowly old lady Hiram, as the burnt offering on the one of the mountains, to Hiram as Rammer Alec, as a Rammer Alec, liking it all the time, alike. But this changes, you know, to alike, to the same type. And who shake 'em over? You know, who shake 'em over 'em? Big titties shaking above you. Not no more veal. Who shake 'em over 'em in cover? The diamond has moved the Q over. QVR. And who shake 'em in over? In cover which in sat. In cover which in sat. You know, as in the morning saddled the donkey. In cover which in sat. Where much more a wife. Where much more a wife. WIFE. A wife it. In senora. backwards and forwards. In Senora Auto what? It's shake. ITSHQ. It's shaking new. The wife in Senora Auto what? It's shaking in new. She knows all about it. Why in Cootsy Hole? WY, who in Cootsy Hole? Who come, who call, all. You come when you call. Who come when call, all. From of me, from fume, to burn, to rise up in the smoke from fume. Assure Rama more will veil him. Assure Rama more will veil him. You get more veal over here. This ain't no skinny little lamb. And so this word veal, it's where your word reveal comes from. And more will veil him, and more will see. And that's what's going on, the times are set where the sun rises at Easter, and it's constantly on gyro, it's moving around. And that's where the words come from. And the gyros said the very, V-R-Y, the very from. It's all about the astrology. The very from the Allah, the Vilum. And so as times move, less of that set of stars is showing up. And so you can see, from a horrid, it was a terrible thing, the same every time. And then, there's a way to gyro, to turn it. And it's not the same every time. And so it changes, the story changes as you progress and read the different markings. And so, the same old veal every time he was bitching, I want more, Heine. And Mama over here, and she said, Mama Fauna, the fuck Anna, the wife, the sister, and the mother of all gods, a mammer fuck Anna, Marifana. That can bank it. I guarantee it. The kid with the itchy dick. Assertive receive it. Assertive receive to take its shuffle kick. The culture, it's the Maria. The Maria is also the ocean. Culture of the ocean. We all who's lowly old lady, of whole. The burnt offer goes in the hole. All ahead. All engines forward. All ahead. The harem. The old lady all ahead of the harem. Ufana. Sure a rammer alike. She showed us like the bone. Who shack 'em over in cover. Which in sat where much more to wife. And so, his donkey, in which in sat where much more to. Jesus always riding a donkey. And a lot of people complain, well, how come, the Pope, he rides a steed and Jesus rides a donkey? And that's because they don't understand. But you see in a lot of ancient art, that the Pope is the donkey. But that's why you're on the donkey, which in sat where much more to wife at. The donkey's slow, the much more. Be there a lot longer. The wife at in the senior, the older one, who oughta what it's shaking new. Ought to know all about it. Why in footsie hole? I'm pretty sure that's where your word coochie comes from. Qoox, the Romans would pronounce that X as a CH, the coochie. Who in coochie hole? Who in koozie hole? And so, a beer koozie is to keep your beer cold. But I believe the koozie hole was where you drop your still in, was the warm hole where you drop your still in to distill. Who in the koozie hole? Who come? Who locale? Who of locale? Why local of the place? From of me, MUFME. From of me. From fume. From rise up in the smoke from fume. assure Rama more will veil 'em. You know, back in the day, you had a koozie where your fire was in, you know, a brick insulated oven, a koozie, and you would drop your pot down in that, and you would set it in the koozie. And so this word here tells off, it says that it's the spirit that's talking. You know, who in koozie hole, who come, why locale, who to this place, from of me, from fume. And so, you know, when you put your pot into the koozie hole, you know, it's the spirits. Me is M-E is the spirits from of me, from fume. And that's why, you know, they have the word M-E in the Sumerian tablets, and they're not sure what it means. They think it means DNA, but it means the spirit. M-E is the spirit. Me. Me is the spirit inside of you when you're talking. So I think I did a good job of translating this here, and it's because I erased the total movie about 4 or 5 times doing this. I had to read that many times before I got it all, but I think everybody could get that. And so give me a hell yeah, and I'll try to go on and read the rest of this to the end of this paragraph till it explains Jesus down here in 7, when he finds out he's the lamb. Oh, I'm the Lola. And that's in this line 7 and 8, you know. And then you turn around when he finds out he's the Lola. Then you turn around and go back up and read it with lower markings, and it starts talking about this tortured soul that grew up as a boy in a monastery, listening to the hollers from the bishop, you know, of come the Pope, P-O-P-E. You know, P-O, and the dot says P twice. It's from the Pope. From the Pope home, room, R-U-M, the room he come where. From the Pope he room come where. And that's the Pope is the donkey. That's where that comes from. And so he was up in a monastery banging all them boys, them little wieners, to any wiener. And so this is a tortured spirit that came back and wrote this. That's the only way you can get these genius writings. So the Bible was written by the devil that they created. They created the devil by molesting the kids. All them tortured spirits come back and taught them how to connect with the spirit and write this. And so the Bible is actually to punish the Pope. And so they changed all the meanings because they didn't like the truth out. And knows, when you read it with these upper markings, you know, it's and vav and N-O-S, and knows it, and knows to high of who, H-U-E, and knows it to high of who. And so this is Satan torturing the Pope for riding the donkey, for molesting all the little boys. That's why the Pope has them donkey ears. Alright, I'm going to cut this off here. Good day.